Hi and welcome to this new video on the HCBP channel. This is going to be our last video on the coverage of SHRM 18. Yes, so no more videos on SHRM 18. If you missed out my previous videos, you can check them out. I just did some coverage on the courses and the sessions I attended and my general impression about the conference. On this final video, what I'll be sharing today is something I referred to in one of my earlier videos about the conference, which is the coverage of the HR department of one session with Jennifer Currence. Now, I had the privilege of sitting down with Jennifer and speaking to her a bit more about the HR department of one. So as part of this video, you will have an interview with Jennifer Currence, a very short one. But I have asked her what does she think HR department of one means for people these days, how it's changed over the years, and what are the things to focus on. So again, stick around to watch the full interview with Jennifer Currence. And as I promised in my earlier video, we have a surprise today. So stay tuned until the last few minutes of the video where I will mention the surprise. And actually, the surprise is a giveaway. You heard me right. And we'll talk about this after we finish the content. So again, like the last few videos, I've taken my notes on my phone. And basically, the session was titled Top 5 Priorities for an HR Department of One 2018 edition. So these sessions, they focus on people who are HR departments of one. And here, let me just make something clear. HR department of one doesn't necessarily mean there's only one person doing the work. HR department of one means that there could be several people, a couple, but each one of them has a full scope of HR responsibility, like everything from A to Z, not just talent acquisition or performance management, yada yada. No, the whole thing. So they're responsible for everything from filing a single paper all the way to strategic initiatives. This is an HR department of one. So we'll talk about what are the, we started with what are the things that did not make it to the top 5, but nonetheless are still top 10. And on number 10, we have diversity and inclusion. Number 9, we have organizational effectiveness and development. 8 is business acumen. 7 is ethical practice. 6 is compensation benefit. So these are all other things that people thought we should be focusing on as HR departments of one. This is, by the way, based on a survey that Jennifer conducts every year, and these are the findings from that survey. We had 217 respondents to the survey, and 174 of them are in small businesses. Mostly HR departments of one, you see them in small businesses because they cannot afford to hire full-fledged HR teams that look into different functions. However, out of personal experience, also large organizations use HR departments of one. So yeah, it works both ways. It's just more challenging when it's a large organization because, again, the amount of stuff that is required of you is mind-blowing at times. So that said, let's go to the top 5. So the top 5, starting from the bottom, we have relationship management. Very interesting. So relationship management is one of the things we should focus on. And I think that goes in hand with, everything that's been discussed in the conference, and even the theme of the conference, Expand Your World. Relationship management is very important, guys. As HR professionals or HC professionals, if you don't have the buy-in from people, if you don't have good relationships with people, chances are very minimal you'll be able to do your job effectively. So relationship management is a core one. And I'm glad it's made it to one of the top 5. It's definitely been always on my top 5 in an HR department of 1. Second one, which is number 4, communication. Communication. No matter how well you think you're communicating, you need to think again, because probably you're still missing out on something. Communication going wrong examples, you could write books, 600 pages each. Not just that, effectiveness of that communication and striking the chord, the actual note that you need to strike with people in order to get their engagement and excitement and get them to understand actually what you're trying to say or what you're trying to do. Again, that's very challenging. If we go back to one of the comments, one of the notes I took from a previous speaker, we don't do well enough with customizing messages to our different audiences. We tend to be lazy. Now, specifically for HR departments of 1, it wouldn't be very fair to call it lazy, but again, because of the amount of expectations and the volume of stuff they need to do, they might just send out communication in a monotonous way, but this is going to create more challenges than help. It would help on the shorter run because it would save you some time, but on the longer run, you are not striking, that chord that you want with people, so you're not relating to them. So communication is a big deal. Leadership and navigation. Leadership and navigation. What can I say about leadership? Leadership is not very common. It's common by name. It's not very common in essence. The essence of leadership is not always there. Leadership, in my experience, works with leaders who are good at times when things are good, but fail at times when things are not so good around them. So again, that's not really leadership. Leadership is trying to stick your ground and actually even being more impactful when calamities and things happen. So again, leadership and navigation, very important, one of the SHRM 9 competencies. And in my opinion, one of the things that make or break an organization. Seen it happening, and when leadership is not there, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. So focusing on leadership, specifically from an HR perspective, I cannot emphasize enough on that personally. This speaks to me at a very high level, and I cannot advertise this enough. Leadership, folks. HR is about leadership. HR is about driving the difference in the organization and uplifting the organization through tough times. So leadership and navigation. Second to last, which is number 2, talent acquisition. Well, talent acquisition. This is what we're there for. We need to acquire talent for the organization so that the organization can move forward. And again, this is one of the priorities in 2018, because acquiring that talent and actually keeping that talent with you, keeping them engaged and interested, which we'll come to in a second, keeping that talent with you is a challenge, because specifically in the US, they were sharing that from a US perspective. We shared this in a previous video. The unemployment rates have been to their lowest since 18 years. So with that, it means that people are employed, people are finding jobs, and they have legacy vacancies, as Jeb Bush said. So that puts more pressure on HR to hire the right people and acquire the right talent and actually retain that talent within the organization. Again, this is a make it or break it. If we don't have the right people in the right place, good luck achieving organizational objectives. And last but not least, the number 1 priority for an HR department of 1 in 2018 is employee engagement and retention. So employee engagement, big task, very big task, specifically for HR departments of 1. Now, engagement, people take it as, oh, that's the fluffy pink stuff. Like, yeah, invite them for lunch, take them out on a dinner. Engagement is much more than that. Think about engagement as, how do I show you that you matter? How do I show you that your job, no matter how small, is part of a bigger picture? You are contributing at every level in the organization. You know, it always reminds me of this story about US President. I think it was Kennedy, if I'm not mistaken, or I'm not sure. So he went to NASA and there was this janitor cleaning, and he asked the janitor, "What are you doing?" Said, "I'm putting a man on the moon, Mr. President." Wow, that story always gets me. True story. Not sure if it was Nixon or Kennedy. It was one of. It was during that time, around that time. So that is the kind of engagement you want to see with people. That is the kind of engagement you need in order to maintain your competitive advantage. And retention. How do you retain people if things are compelling in other places? If your competition is doing stuff that you're not doing, you need to keep an eye on your competition in order to be able to find ways to engage and retain your people. So you don't have the luxury of being complacent and say, "Oh, you're lucky to have your job." I'll just stop it there. It's not enough anymore to just say, "Yeah, okay, we'll do these welfare events, we'll do these engagement surveys." That's not enough. That's the basic minimum. You're not even scratching the surface. So employee engagement is, again, a big task, much more complex than how people put it sometimes. And it's very important that you master employee engagement. When your people are proud, when they know exactly what they're doing, when they know what their colleagues are doing, when they know how they fit into the bigger picture, when they feel that they're working in their own establishment, not working for someone, working for their own establishment, that sense of pride, that sense of, accountability. This is what you're looking for. This is true engagement. And in future videos, we'll be doing specific videos on engagement and some of the things we tried from my experience and other people's experience. Now, that's enough of me talking about HR Department of One, and these are the 5 priorities, and we talked about the runner-ups, the 5 other priorities that did not make it to the top 5. So before moving to the video with Jennifer, let me just share with you a bit about who she is and what she does. Jennifer is the author of 8 books in the SHRM mini-series of Making Impact in Small Business. So far she has 3 published, with the rest of them being published later on. She's also a professor of management at the University of Tampa, with 20 years of experience in human resources, working for non-profit, public and private institutions. She has an executive MBA from Sky's College of Business at the University of Tampa, and she's a graduate cum laude. Oh. She's done extensive work with the SHRM, with the Society for Human Resources Management. She has done extensive work with SHRM, and she's an international speaker on workforce effectiveness topics, including onboarding, trust, leadership, SHRM behavioral competencies. She's also the project editor for SHRM's 2016 learning system. She's a writer and subject matter expert in Global HR Magazine. She's a question writer for the Global SHRM SCP exam. She's a member of the SHRM faculty teaching nationwide, that's in the US, in SHRM seminars. She's also a certified coach and a member of the International Coaching Federation. She's a senior professional in human resources, SPHR, through HRCI, Human Resources Certification Institute. She's also a senior certified professional through SHRM, so SHRM SCP. Very impressive profile, folks. I do encourage you to check out Jennifer's profile, add her on LinkedIn. She sends a lot of stuff for free, and I'll have links to her LinkedIn profile, and I'll be sharing some of the links that she will mention throughout the video as well with you in the description. So I do encourage you, add Jennifer. She's an amazing person, extremely friendly, always out there. She has a lot of free stuff to offer. She also offers professional services through her consultancy company Oncore. And yeah, let's jump to the interview and see what Jennifer had to say about this year's HR Department of One's 5 priorities. Good morning. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much. So Jennifer, how has this been for you, the whole conference experience so far?
The conference experience is one of the things that I always look forward to every year. It's kind of my 1 week out of the year where I just get really geeked to come to the annual conference. This is my 7th one, and it's the 4th one that I've spoken at. So when I went to, I remember, 7 years ago, I went to the annual conference in Atlanta, and I met a speaker there, and I went up to him and I said, "How do I be you?"
Cool.
And just everything kind of snowballed from there, and just being able to go, just as you yourself are doing, to be able to connect with people, and those connections, honestly, primarily through this conference and through my state HR conference, has really jump-started my career.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's been great.
So that started 7 years back then, the inspiration.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
And how has this conference been so far in terms of the content? Did you enjoy something in particular? Are there any areas that's, were of interest to you specifically?
Well, there are two things that stand out. One is the fact that SHRM is really focusing on providing a voice for HR Department of One. So this year we had an official meetup for the 2nd year in a row, as you know, and which preceded my session on Sunday, and then we had a HR Department of One session on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday. So every day we had something that was focused just on HR Department of One. So yeah, SHRM is really starting to understand that there are specific and unique needs for that area, the group of people. So I'm happy with that. And then the second thing that stood out to me so far in the conference is I was really looking forward to hearing Adam Grant, and he did not disappoint. He was just, he's really amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Love hearing him.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for sharing those insights. Now, we did touch base upon this just a little bit earlier, when you said that 7 years ago you've seen someone. Is this how the whole, HR Department of One session came into existence? This is like the main motive behind it?
Yeah, I did not start the HR Department of One movement, if you will. That was started by someone before me, and then we kind of, another one of the speakers, Lori Kleiman and I, a few years ago, kind of started, hey, let's build a community and let's group together people. And Lori does a lot of work with the HR Department of One group as well. So it's just kind of picked up and rolled, and it's growing. In fact, I had someone at SHRM tell me that the HR Department of One group is 1/3 of its membership. Yeah, so it's huge. And I know at the session yesterday with Amanda Hadaway, who is another one of the HR Department of One speakers, she had 786 people in her room.
Wow.
So, and I had 560 in mine on Sunday before the conference even really started. So there's a lot of people that are there in that group, and I think the more people we can get at the annual conference, the better. And so I'm working with SHRM now, and through some of my other things that I do with the organization, I'm able to infiltrate a little more and be able to talk to some of the leaders in the organization, and hopefully we'll see that growing, because they know it's an area. And in fact, as you heard, we have a new credential.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes.
I was just about to ask you about this.
Oh well, so I learned about it a couple of months ago, but I still haven't learned all of the details about it. So I know SHRM is looking for people to really help inspire and advise on what that credential needs to include and be involved in that. But that's just another way that SHRM is saying, hey, this is unique, and it's a unique skill set, and placing importance in the spotlight on the HR Department of One group. So I love that.
Yeah, I'm really happy for everyone who's in HR Department of One, and for you actually.
Yeah.
It must be rewarding to see after all the effort that kind of recognition actually happens.
It takes time. You have to have patience, and let it kind of filter and fester up and build, so that can be a great thing. And just to be clear, when we're talking about an HR Department of One, I don't know how that term got started. SHRM started that, and it was in existence for a while, but it's not just one person, you could have an HR department of 2 or 3, but if you're in a small business, yeah, that would still have the same issues.
And throughout my personal experience, actually, it could be even bigger than 2 or 3, but sometimes you're the individual who does everything for that particular business from A to Z. So you are actually an HR Department of One for that particular part of the business. So
great
even
point.
if you're like 4 or 5, which was my case, I was still classifying myself as an HR department of 1 because I was a generalist doing everything, from the paperwork all the way to strategic initiatives and everything. So
for a single business unit, or HR business partner is another term.
Yeah, exactly.
So even in larger organizations, to your point, it can still be.
It depends on the structure, I guess. So the way we then moved into a specialist function, so which made things a bit easier. But those HR department of 1 days, they're part of my DNA now.
I know, hold them near and dear.
Always there.
It is good.
Great. So thank you for sharing that. Now, what are the major shifts that you've noticed in the HR department of 1 movement over the years? What has changed over the past few years?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just that there's a visibility for HR Department of 1. So that's the biggest thing. And I've really been only following it for about the past 3 years intensely. It kind of became a thing, if you will. And I think there's becoming more of a focus or a spotlight on HR Departments of 1 being strategic. So a lot of times how HR starts off in a small business is they're the receptionist or the office manager or the accountant, and then, hey, we need somebody to do these HR role. Oh, and then there's maybe something else that we need, and eventually it grows into its own entity. So I think I'm seeing that HR professionals really want to be more strategic in that, even as an HR department of 1, and get away from some of the administrative and tactical stuff. And I believe that we have a great opportunity with the technology now to be able to do that. So it's just being able to harness that technology and use it for our good.
Great. And do you use anything in specific when we're talking about technology? Anything that you would recommend that people might be able to look into that might facilitate this journey?
That's a great idea, and I don't have a great question, but I don't have any specific tool like name brands that I use. But I can say generally that use an ATS system, use a payroll system. Don't do your own payroll on QuickBooks or anything.
Excel.
Yeah, or Excel. True. I mean, the technology is there, and it can streamline and take up so much of eliminate so much of the time that you spend on those activities, and it has the benefit of reducing errors. Sure. Right? So you just have one point of entry, and the technology's there. Why not use it? And another thing that I would point out is that a lot of times we hear about PEOs, a professional employer organization, and we have those in America. Do you have those globally?
Not really to that.
Not really? Yeah. Those can be something that HR professionals are scared of because they think it's taking away their job, but really it can just take away the administrative piece and then they'll leave the HR person to be more strategic in their role.
No,
So.
but we call them mainly outsourcing companies, so you outsource a specific function.
Okay.
And it's usually payroll and
Yeah.
admin. That's mostly used for that. And to some extent recruitment as well.
Okay.
Yeah. At least the initial screening bit.
Yeah. Which can take up so much time.
It does, yeah.
Definitely.
Great. So Jennifer, how is this year's HR Department of 1 session different from last year in terms of the priorities to focus on?
You know, one of the things that I'm seeing is that we always have communication in the top 3. We always have leadership. We always have employee engagement has been there. There's some things that have changed. 2 years ago, so this is the 3rd year that I've done the survey. 2 years ago, we had employment law was in the top 5, and then the past 2 years it hasn't been. Well, if you think about the landscape and what was happening in the United States anyway, we had the exempt overtime laws that were getting ready to change, and so everybody was all up in arms about that. So I think it really depends on what the external environment is doing. You know, I talk a lot about when we're talking about business acumen, as I did the other day, you were there, to talk about we need to have our business acumen and do that environmental scan and see what's going on out there in the world. And so that affects what we need to focus on in HR to an extent. So now we have the low unemployment in America, and trying to figure out how to deal with that, and how do we retain? So that's why employee engagement was #1 this year, because the unemployment rate is so low in America, and so we're trying to figure out how to hold on to those high potential employees. Not to say that it's never been important in the past, but now it's just that we have a heightened awareness about it, right?
I see.
Yeah.
And so in addition to that, as you mentioned, business acumen, developing that, it's becoming something that we need more these days because, the tendency to move on from the tactical bit to the more strategic bit, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I think business acumen is a great place to start. Yeah.
Great. Understand your business, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Great. Thank you. Now, I know that you have your own business, your own consultancy, which is Oncore. So, just explain to me, what do you offer? What are the services that you offer?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So my business is really focused on helping HR provide HR services. So however I can assist HR be better at what they do, be better at providing their own services, that's what I focus on. And I do that in a variety of ways. I provide coaching I'm a certified coach. I provide coaching to HR professionals as well as to managers to help them with their leadership development, which helps HR, as we know. If we have a better trained management and leaders, then we have we're able to focus more strategically on our things. So that's helpful. I provide consulting services specifically for HR small businesses to be able to allow them to focus on the things that they need to focus on. Come in and do a diagnostic program and take a look. Okay, here's where I am. Here's where I want to be. So how do I get from here to there? And be able to talk them through and coach them through and provide the services and the tools that they need, since I have been an HR department of one myself and I've been through that. And then I also have a program through it's Oncore Academy is the name of the website, oncoreacademy.com, and that provides recertification credits for HR professionals.
Oh, wow. So what kind of recertification are we talking about? HRCI or SHRM or both?
Both.
Both?
Yes,
Great.
yes. I have
So
programs.
we'll have a link to that below in the video.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And so I have free resources on there as well as paid resources that are available for people. Yeah.
Great. Which actually leads to my following question. What are some of the free resources that you can share through website or whatever with other HR departments of one that they can hopefully use and share your wisdom?
Yeah, well, I provide a lot of free content on LinkedIn. So people who are connected with me on LinkedIn get an opportunity to see some of the things that go through my brain. And whenever I see a great article, I always push it out to my LinkedIn crowd. And I seem to get a lot of people who really appreciate that. And then the other place is through the oncoreacademy.com. My website there I have some free videos that are included, and I also have some free downloads. So HR templates and documents that you can just print off and use and customize to your own needs, whatever is helpful. And I'm always adding stuff on there. If I ever have a client that says, "Hey, I need this, do you have it?" No, but I can create it. I'll create it and then I'll stick it there for everyone else to be able to use for free.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. So,
good.
Yeah. So if people want to reach out to you, the best thing would be to locate you on LinkedIn, and they'll be able to become part of the Oncore community and the HR department of one community that you'll be.
Yes, and I love that word community, Yamen, and that's what you're creating through this YouTube series, really, this channel that you're developing. And I think there's a great opportunity for us as HR small business professionals to be able to connect together. And I'm actually working on some things for that, to create an HR department of one community, so where we can thrive, not just survive, but really thrive through each other and through our networking, and be able to help each other out.
Perfect.
So,
right in place with what we're trying to accomplish here as well, because it's all about the community and the value we can add to each other to grow the profession together, actually.
Yeah.
So amazing. Thank you very much for your time. It's been lovely.
Thank you.
You're natural for this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Anything before we wrap up? Anything else you would like to see? Any message you want to put out there to HRDOOs?
Anything? Yeah. Well, let me just say, don't give up. Okay? I know it's tough and I know it's hard sometimes, but just reach out, find a mentor, reach out and find your community and ask a question. Don't just give up without asking for help. You can do this. You don't have to survive alone. There's a lot of us out there to help you. So, myself included, Yamen included. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that. That's great. So you heard, folks. Please do reach out, and if it would be great as well if you can join us. I bet that there would be another HR Department of One session next year in
I
the
hope
SHRM
so.
conference.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I'm
So-
actually I'm writing my books, and
Yeah.
so you could see that these are focused on small business. So the series is making an impact in small business, and these books are focused specifically on the SHRM behavioral competencies for HR professionals in small businesses.
Yeah.
So everything is right around that. The three of them are finished. This is the last one. So the consultation competency, and then there's critical evaluation is completed, and business acumen. Those are all available on Amazon.com. Communication is next. So
Great.
next year by this conference, I'll have that one out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we'll probably, part of this channel is that I'll be doing video reviews of some of the books that we go through. So I'll be more than happy to review these and give some thoughts.
And my publisher just told me yesterday that these, all three of my books are approved for recertification credits.
Perfect.
For SHRM, yeah.
So there you go. You heard it, folks. If you want to get pre-certified, you have 3 books that you can use in your arsenal now.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's been lovely. Thank you so much for taking your time and coming on such short notice.
Oh, it's great.
I appreciate it. I'm sure my audience will also appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for what you're doing with this, building this community. I love it.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Well, folks, hope you enjoyed the interview with Jennifer. She is amazing. She's natural. I told her, how do you do it? I mean, I do takes over and over again, but she was natural. We didn't check this out. We didn't edit anything. She just kept on moving, and she was on a roll. She's the same in her, classes and her sessions. She's very amazing. If you ever have an opportunity to sit in a session run by Jennifer, I would highly recommend it. She's one of these people that have the charisma, that own the session, own the room. She's funny. She's very witty. She's very informative, and she shares a lot of stuff for free, as I mentioned earlier. Now, that said, and before we wrap up, we'll talk about the surprise. So what I have right here is this. So what is this? This is one of the latest books she published, Jennifer, and it's called Mastering Consultation as an HR Practitioner. Very nice book. I started reading it. I did not finish it yet, but it's very nice, and it's part of her mini-series targeting small businesses, and this was sold out. Guys, this was sold out on the second day of the conference. Now, the nice surprise is that this is actually a gift from Jennifer to our viewers. And she signed it. There you go. You can see her signature right there. And this is a free giveaway. However, there are some things I want you to do before you have this. So this giveaway will go to someone, one of our spectators on this channel. And I want you just to do one simple thing for me. Now, I want you to answer one question. My question to you is, I don't know if you're aware, but SHRM is launching their first conference in the region, actually, which is very cool. It's launching next February 2019, and I'm super excited about this. And they reached out to people asking them one question, and I'll be asking you this same question. What do you think are some of the things you want to see in that conference? That's number one. Number two, what do you think are top 3 things we can do for the HC profession in this region to make it better, stronger, and to create a more collaborative, bigger community that shares more ideas? Now, the person who will name the top 3 initiatives that are executable, they have to be reasonable, some things we can do, be it through SHRM or as a community together. the one person who would give the best 3 recommendations will be having this book by Jennifer. So that's it. Send me your suggestions. I'm available on I'm available on my Twitter account. I'm available here. I'll be checking the comments on this video. You can reach out also on my Facebook page. All of these channels, I'll have a link to them below. So please send your recommendations and suggestions, and you might be the lucky winner of the sold out book in 2 days. No other book sold out so quickly. So get some of that wisdom and know how to be a better consultant for your business with Jennifer by answering these questions. That's about it for now. As always, thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you're in doubt, I'm here to help you out. Peace.